Do you remember a man by the name of John Kalodner?
Of course. Yeah. A&R guy.
Yep. So he's the one, that really, breathed life back into Aerosmith. And
of course. Whitesnake.
Very prominent in Whitesnake. So when John Sykes left Whitesnake to join Blue Murder, he wanted David Glenn Isley to be the singer for Blue Murder. And he wanted me to be the next guitar player for Whitesnake. He called me at home. I wish I would have kept the voicemail, because he says, Craig, he goes, Goldy, don't sign any contracts. You're going to be the next guitar player for Whitesnake. And then Steve Vai came along. Well, that makes perfect sense, because, Steve Vai can play anything. I'm not one of those guys. I can't play anything. I'm just not that guy. And he was a much bigger box office draw. I mean, coming from movies and Frank Zappa and all the stuff that he did, he's another guy from another planet, And then John Sykes wanted to sing, so David Glenn Isley didn't get the singing job. So Kalodner puts me and David Isley back together to do a demo, which he then turned down. So now the demo belongs to us. So I sent it to Warner Brothers, and then 2 days later, a phone rings. And my girlfriend at the time picks up the phone and looks at it and looks at me like the President of the United States called. She hands me the phone and I say hello, and I hear, hey man, Dave Roth here. Love your shit, man. Let's go. Let's write some more stuff together. Here's my producer. And at the time he was working with Bob Ezrin. And I remember Bob Ezrin only in a small amount, because while we were on tour with Dio, Carmine played on a Pink Floyd album that Bob Ezrin produced.
Right.
So I'm just blown away. I'm thinking, here I am talking to the producer of Pink Floyd with David Lee Roth on the line, want me to come over to his house and write more songs out of a failure. My songs got turned down, but it turns out I ended up in a much better place. I'm looking at the first gold record I ever got, and that was David Lee Roth. And so he asked me to come to his private residence for nearly 3 months while we wrote together. And it just turned out that the one song that he picked, he wanted to write the lyrics and melody line, and I wrote the music, and it was a 50-50 split.
With Whitesnake, that's mind-blowing that you would have replaced Vivian Campbell again.
No, actually, I was supposed to replace John Sykes, because John Sykes was starting Blue Murder.
Yeah, but Steve Vai came in later.
I'm talking about for Whitesnake, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so then what about Adrian Vandenberg? He wasn't in the picture yet?
I think he already was. I think it was Adrian and John.
Okay, so you would have come in before Vivian.
Right.
Yeah, because Steve Vai came in on the next record, Slip of the Tongue.
Right.
Okay, and after Vivian left.
This morning it was the other way around. I thought it was Steve Vai, and then Vivian came in after Vai left.
Adrian came in first, and he thought he was going to be the only guitar player initially, just because of the setup before. So they brought him in, and Kalodner was the one that connected that. He said, hey, fly in. We want to sign a new version and build a new band around Vandenberg. And he goes, but also, I want you to check out this Whitesnake stuff. We're building something for Whitesnake. Vandenberg's later like, wow, he didn't know Vivian was going to come in. But Vivian did the 1987 tour.
Right. He didn't do the album.
He didn't do the album. And then David Coverdale didn't want to write with Vivian. And then Adrian got hurt, but he was the one.
Oh, right.
He's the one that wrote all the songs with David for the album. And then his hand injury. And that's when they brought Steve Vai in.
Okay. I got it. I guess it was all centered around John Sykes leaving. And John Kalodner wanted to have me replace John Sykes and David Glenn Isley sing for John Sykes in Blue Murder, because he didn't want John Sykes to sing. And then I guess I thought it was Steve Vai that came along, but I guess whoever came along, if it was Vivian or I guess it was Vivian, I don't know, but they just figured it was a better fit. And to me, it just made sense, because I'm not the kind of guitar player that would fit into a guy who can play anything. I'm more of a Blackmore kind of guy, and it's like, I'm sure Ritchie would be great in Whitesnake, but it wouldn't be, I don't think Ritchie can play what Steve Vai does, but at the same time, I don't think Steve Vai can do what Ritchie does.